Welcome to the Formula Regional Americas Championship powered by Honda. This is round 4 for the 2023 season. My name is John Phippen. Great to be with you. Eric Miller alongside as we're here at beautiful Road America for rounds 4, 5, and 6. Let's introduce the starters to you. On the outside of row 6, after serving a penalty, Hayden Bowlesby in the number 3 car for IGY6 Motorsports. Next to him in the 6th row is car number 24, Kevin Jansen for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Kevin is sponsored by the U.S. Power Group. He's out of Deerfield Beach, Florida. In row number 5 on the outside, the youngest driver in the field, car number 8, Austin Hill from Frankfort, Ohio, and Austin Hill Motorsports. Next to him, another driver who was penalized for causing a stoppage of the session. That would be Manuel Rosa in car number 12. Manuel from Mexico City for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. He will start 9th. In row 4 on the outside, Hayden Bowlesby's teammate Max Hewitt in the number 22 car for IGY6 Motorsports. And a driver making his debut this weekend. He did not race with us at NOLA. That's car number 10, Rodrigo Gutierrez for Velocity Racing Development. Rodrigo raced with us last season, finished 10th in the championship a year ago. Moving forward to row 3, car number 1 is Oliver Westling. He also races for Jensen. Oliver living in Emerald Hills, California, although he was born in Stockholm. Next to him in row 3 is car 29, another returning driver from a year ago, Nick Pershing. He's moved over to the Cameron Racing team. He's out of Morgan Hill, California. In row number 2 on the outside, Bryson Morris from Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Bryson in the 39 is out of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, the vice champion of the F4 US Championship a year ago. His teammate alongside is our series points leader. That's Ryan Sheehan. Ryan in the number 66 car, also for Crosslink Kiwi. Ryan makes his home in Horseshoe Bay, Texas. He's an 18-year-old who finished 4th in the F4 Championship last year. Now on the front row, car number 19 is Cooper Becklin. He will start on the outside. Cooper is out of West Lynn, Oregon for Crosslink Kiwi. He finished 7th in the championship a year ago with 2 podium finishes. And on the pole, car number 17, he's been fast all weekend. That's Callum Hedge out of Auckland, New Zealand, making his first starts with us in either championship this season. And now the starting sequence has begun. 5 lights light up. When they go out, we are racing. And everybody's away cleanly. That's good to see. A little shuffling at the back. But in this short run down to the first turn, we ride with Manuel Rosa. That's the 22 of Max Hewitt to his right, and the 8 of Austin Hill, as those two continue to go side by side down into turn number 3. We ride with Austin Hill as he does battle with Max Hewitt, trying to take over that 7th spot. That's Oliver Westling in the distance there as they make the run under the Sargento Bridge and head down toward turn number 5 for the first time. Side by side for 2nd spot, Cooper Becklin and Ryan Sheehan. And in this battle we've been following with Austin Hill trying to sweep around the outside of Max Hewitt. Hill goes a little wide. That opens the door for Manuel Rosa to try to take over that position. Out of turn 6 down into turn number 7. Meanwhile, Callum Hedge getting away at the front while these drivers are squabbling for 2nd spot.
Callum Hedge's best friend right now is the field from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. All in that battle. He's just able to kind of scamper away, put his head down, not worry about the mirrors right now, and just try to put some distance in there. The more distance he can gather here, the easier it's going to be for him to kind of maintain some tire temperatures and really just kind of be mindful of the gap, so to speak. But as the battle rages on, you're starting to see these teams start to stretch out a little bit. 2nd, 3rd, now have a gap back to 4th and 5th.
Oh, somebody going wide. I think that was Kevin Jansen off there at the exit of the kink. Now Bryson Morris battling for 4th with Nick Pershing goes wide. A little too late on the brakes as you just now see him coming back online, but he lost a couple, now maybe 3 spots as Max Hewitt comes alongside as they duke it out just outside the top 5. We drop back 1 spot. Manuel Rosa coming under attack by the 8 of Austin Hill. They're still side by side as they climb the hill to complete race lap number 1. Hedge, Sheehan, Cooper Becklin, Nick Pershing, your top 4. Rodrigo Gutierrez in the 10 car. In the 5th spot, Oliver Westling in 6th. Max Hewitt back in 7th. Bryson Morris, Manuel Rosa, and Austin Hill, your top 10. Man, that battle for 3rd is a dandy between Becklin and Pershing. We ride with Cooper Becklin. As you can see, his teammate up ahead, and then we drop back to this battle for 8th with Bryson Morris As just in front of him, Max Hewitt in the 22, then Oliver Wessling going side by side with Rodrigo Gutierrez in the 10 as they head down into the braking zone. Wessling with a nose ahead as here comes Bryson Morris trying to make a move on Max Hewitt. Wessling able to maintain the position. Gutierrez tries to respond. Wessling goes wide, drops a wheel off, and that opens the door for Gutierrez to take over the spot, and he does. Rodrigo Gutierrez in the VRD car moves up into that 4th spot. Make that 5th, sorry. We ride with 3rd place runner Cooper Becklin, with Ryan Sheehan just in front of him and disappearing in the distance, Callum Hedge. And we drop back to Oliver Wessling in the battle for 5th position. This gaggle of cars just behind, with Gutierrez now at the front of that battle. Good battling here in the Formula Regional Americas Championship. It's not unusual because these cars have so much downforce. We don't see quite as much cut and thrust as they're hard to follow closely, but these drivers are putting paid to that. I think the smooth track surface is giving them a lot of good track feel. They're feeling confident enough in the car that they can put it places where they might not otherwise.
Well, there's a lot less polished road surface where you finally, get into. There's probably not as many marbles out there either.
Oh, sure, yeah.
As the rubber, instead of going up and bouncing away, it's kind of going down and in. So there's probably a little bit more grip on the more traditional offline because there's not as many marbles right now. Sheehan and Becklin having a good battle for 2nd. That is not done yet. Nick Persian kind of by himself. Cooper Becklin from 3rd just set the fast lap of the race. So we'll see how that shakes out. Ryan Sheehan, as we mentioned, the points leader with 2 wins already on the season. Look at this battle going on just outside the top 4. There's 5th, 6th, and 7th in that order. Then 8th, 9th, and 10th as they are all running together. Rodrigo Gutierrez, Oliver Wessling, Bryson Morris. Understand the 24 car of Kevin Jansen with a damaged front wing after a self-inflicted off at turn 11. Meanwhile, Oliver Wessling continues his battle side by side with Rodrigo Gutierrez. Wessling trying to retake the position he lost a lap ago. That's Wessling to the inside. I think he's going to get it done. Gutierrez gets forced wide. That opens the door for Bryson Morris to try to challenge. What I liked right there was Gutierrez's recognition that he was not going to make the corner and backed out of it to save both himself and the cut right rear. Meanwhile, Bryson Morris, the Tennessee driver, right on his back bumper, or back wing, I guess I should say. There is a attenuator on the back of these cars, of course. But Oliver Wessling getting away just a little bit at the front of this battle. As we go back to the point, and the battle for 2nd is still a good one. Cooper Becklin all over the back of his teammate, Ryan Sheehan, down into Canada corner. There's the orange car of Nick Persian. We ride now with Becklin as he's got Sheehan just in front of him as they head down toward turn 14 to complete this 2nd race lap. The hill they come towards start finish. And very much have lost the top 2 or 3 here. Hedge, Sheehan, and Becklin. Pretty big gap here, about 2.3 seconds back to 3rd for Hedge. Hedge has a 1.9 second advantage over Sheehan, but Sheehan laid down the fastest lap here on lap 2. Working lap 3 now. Here comes Bryson Morris on Rodrigo Gutierrez as they make the run down toward turn number 1. There's Oliver Wessling, and then side by side, that's Morris on the inside as he moves around into that position. Morris with the position. There's Gutierrez, and then just behind them, a 3-way battle with Rosa, Hewitt, and Austin Hill. Meanwhile, at the front, Callum Hedge continuing to lead as we ride with 4th place runner Nick Pershing as he climbs the hill up toward turn number 6. Bryson Morris now with that position over Rodrigo Gutierrez. Remember, Morris qualified up in the front row, or the front 2 rows, and has fallen back just a bit. Now he's kind of in recovery mode, working his way back up to 6th. Oliver Wessling clear out in front. Bryson Morris, though, appears to be reeling him in. There's the 10 of Rodrigo Gutierrez
as we ride with him as he makes the run down Hurry Downs into turn number 8. Gutierrez raced with us a year ago, but this is his first outing with us, as he was not with us at NOLA. Meanwhile, the leaders snaking their way through the Kettle Bottoms down into Canada Corner. Good battle for second as we ride with Cooper Becklin going just a little bit wide, chasing his teammate Ryan Sheehan for the middle step on the podium here in the early stages. Meanwhile, as we ride with Sheehan, the overall leader, Callum Hedge, continues to stretch his advantage at the front as they come across start-finish as we ride with our leader, Callum Hedge. Ryan Sheehan and Cooper Becklin, the two teammates, very close to each other down into turn number 1. Callum Hedge all alone in front. Now this battle for second. Sheehan is the points leader. Cooper Becklin right behind him. Becklin currently 4th in the points with 2 podiums already this season. Kevin Jansen in the number 24 car has come in for a new nose and has returned. He is still 12th and last. Remember, he's the driver who had that off there at the kink on lap number 1, damaging the nose on his car. As we ride with 3rd place Cooper Becklin, now we jump up to our leader, Callum Hedge, as he exits turn 5, climbs the hill and under the Corvette Bridge through turn number 6.
And Pershing right now is just kind of settling into that 4th spot all by himself. No pressure from behind. So again, very similar to your leader, he's going to be able to kind of put his head down a little bit, not worry about anything in the mirrors, and just kind of focus on trying to improve a little bit of racecraft here. Find the fast way around. You're going to have to hunt a little bit with the new pavement.
Yep.
There's going to be areas where you're going to have more grip in certain spots. In a more traditional apex entry, do you go in late? Do you turn in early?
Right.
There's a lot of different ways that you can carry a little bit more speed, and when you're not running with a lot of cars around you, that's the opportune time to start experimenting a little bit and get some feedback on what the car is doing, and the feedback is ultimately the lap time, right? So
yep.
Pay attention to that. But settling into that 4th spot, 1 step off the podium right now for Nick Pershing in that 29 machine.
The battle to watch is the one for second. Ryan Sheehan, the points leader. Right behind him is Cooper Becklin. They are teammates. In fact, the top 3 all from the Crosslink Kiwi stable. Nick Pershing for Cameron Racing in the 4th spot. This 2nd place battle, and again, I think this is a good job by Cooper Becklin. He's just maintaining his position, realizes he's got some racing yet to go. No need to try to follow too closely and perhaps damage the front tires. These teams, each car has 2 sets of Hankook slicks. 2 sets of fronts, 2 sets of rears that they can allocate however they wish throughout the course of the weekend. They start the practice and testing on used tires. The new tires come into play in qualifying. So from qualifying in the 3 races, they can decide how they want to allocate those 2 sets of tires. But there are no extras, so they need to be careful in the early stages here of the first race of the weekend not to burn up the tires so that they have some rubber left over at the end of this race. Many of them will go to a fresh set for Sunday morning, so they'll have a fresh set for the final 2 races of the weekend.
A multitude of sessions on track. Of course, they did have the optimal test session as well.
Yep.
But using already previously consumed rubber.
Yep.
In that circumstance.
Now we got a battle for 7th. Manuel Rosa down to the inside of Rodrigo Gutierrez. Max Hewitt just behind him as he makes that pass stick. We ride with Gutierrez just having been passed by Rosa as they climb the hill, now down toward turn 7. In the run down to Hurry Downs, Gutierrez trying to repay that favor perhaps. Will he be late on the brakes down into turn 8? Not quite able to get close enough. As we turn our attention back to the leaders in this great battle as we ride with Cooper Becklin. Continue to watch this 2nd place battle. It is the best one on the racetrack. The disadvantage that Nick Pershing has, of course, he's in a single car team, and so doesn't have the data to compare. The juggernaut, which is Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports, has been one of our original teams from the 2016 season on, and they are a multi-car team in both the F4 and the FR championship, so obviously they can have the benefit of sharing data between them and learn the best way to set up the car. The drivers can learn where their teammates are going quicker throughout the course by looking at the data traces. And the single car teams may be at a little bit of a disadvantage because they don't have access to that data. Callum Hedge, though, nobody's bothering him. He is out in front by just about 2.5 seconds. Ryan Sheehan, however, the second place car, has just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's 2.1 seconds behind. Let's check the lap times. He was about a half a second quicker than Callum Hedge on that last lap.
Gap 2.16 seconds last time across the stripe for Sheehan. Did go purple in the session in that second spot. But again, Callum Hedge, with the gap that he's minding right now, may not necessarily be pushing all that hard. Maybe easing into the corner, backing the corner up a little bit, just trying to save the equipment, so to speak, keep some tires on it. So if he does have to make a push towards the end, he'll have a little bit of that Hankook rubber left.
Yeah, we're not even close to halfway into this race. We're only 13 minutes in.
Cooper Becklin just went wide in turn 6 and lost about probably a half a second off of Ryan Sheehan. So Ryan Sheehan now with no pressure from behind for the moment. Becklin able to gather it up quickly, but that was a rather large agricultural moment for Cooper Becklin.
Yeah, Ryan Sheehan does look to me like the car on the move right now, as he just set fast lap of the race. We'll see if he can back that up with another quickest lap and close that 2.1 second interval to his teammate out in front. The New Zealander, Callum Hedge, who has a great racing pedigree in his native New Zealand, winning the F1600 championship. He also competed in the inaugural Formula Regional Oceania Championship. It's held in our off-season over the winter. A number of drivers from our championship went over there to compete. Callum Hedge finished second, as it turns out, at the end of the day. He comes across the line to complete race lap number 6. Sheehan, the interval's about the same, 2.3 seconds. I think Hedge, I'm sure getting word from his crew that his teammate may be beginning to put a little pressure on, so he just opened up that gap once again, and he sets the fast lap of the race on the last go.
Finds the loud pedal, pushes it just a little bit more.
Just a little bit sooner, just a little bit harder. So a little bit game of cat and mouse here as we are getting closer to half distance. We're about 15 minutes into the race with 20 to go. Pershing has really lost touch with these two in front of him. So I think he's content to try to consolidate that 4th spot, because there's 10 seconds behind him to the 5th place runner, Oliver Westling.
Yeah, the gap is just about double back to Westling. From Pershing's gap to the leader is about 10 seconds. And the gap back to Westling for Pershing is about 10 seconds.
As we continue to ride with the 3rd place runner, Cooper Becklin, Ryan Sheehan right in front of him. Tip of the hat to Cooper Becklin. He has not given up. That one little mistake at turn 6, which cost him some ground, he has made that up and then some, as he is right on the back of his teammate.
Kind of interesting note there. You see that Ryan Sheehan was tight to the bottom apex through the second apex of the carousel, and Cooper Becklin opening up that corner just a little bit by about a half a car width.
Yep. And
Becklin just trying to stay wide. Obviously, it's put a little bit of air on the front of the car, but what he's doing there has been able to capture the back gearbox of Ryan Sheehan. Cooper Becklin had a really good run by opening up the carousel a little bit.
Yep.
And carrying a little bit more speed out of the corner, able to pull right back to the gearbox of Sheehan.
And he has done so as they exit turn 14. Sheehan's car sliding right out to the edge of the track. Becklin stays right in his wheel tracks as they begin the long climb up the hill and across the line. Callum Hedge resets fast lap of the race, stretches his lead to 2.8 seconds now. But the Becklin-Sheehan battle we've been watching all race long is easily the best battle on the racetrack. Rodrigo Gutierrez and Max Hewitt for 8th and 9th is also less than a second. But Gutierrez, unfortunately, was going the wrong direction. He was right up in the thick of the battle in the early stages of this race, but has dropped back as this race carries on. Halfway home in this one, as we're just at half distance. Plenty of racing left to go. Touch wood. These youngsters have done a great job of keeping the racing clean. Interesting to see the ebb and the flow of that second place battle. Just as it looks like Becklin is, beginning to close down and might be in a position to make a bid, Sheehan finds that little extra to go quicker. Ryan Sheehan is quite a story. He, at the end of his go-karting days, he had a really bad testing shunt, brake failure or something, and the car went off the end of a race, and he was badly hurt, and it was touch and go there for a while, but he has recovered from that and shown great pace in our F4 championship and in the Formula Regional Americas championship as well. So he's a great kid from a family down in Horseshoe Bay, Texas. He's accustomed to adversity and knows how to deal with it.
And as a developmental series, you like to hear stories like that. Really the key here is building confidence in the skill set, learning the ins and outs of the business of racing, because it is so much more than just simply driving the car.
Sure.
But with this platform, with the Formula platform, him being able to kind of go head down here and just kind of be one with the car, that's incredible after the amount of worry after that initial shunt. But he did a great job in F4 and then moving up through the ladder here into FR.
Exactly right. And that's really part of the whole cachet of the series. Our race director Scott Goodyear, he started out with his son. His son Michael competed in the F4 series in its inaugural season in 2016. Scott was not affiliated with the series other than as a racing dad, and he got hooked right away and saw the value of this series as a training ground for young racers, not only with their racecraft obviously and driving a race car fast, but all the things you need to do to be successful as a professional race car driver. And so he kind of stood in the wings for a couple of years, and then when the opportunity came for the race directorship, when that opened up, he was given the opportunity to take it, and he has grasped it with both hands. He's got his hands full because he's got operational responsibilities as well as the purely race director responsibilities, but he's doing a great job, and my hat is off to him. He's done a fantastic job with these kids, educating them, teaching them all about what it's like to be a professional race car driver. And with the kids, especially coming into the F4 series as youngsters, as young as 15 years of age, they're kind of headstrong. They've come out of karting. They've been really good in karting, and so they think, oh yeah, this is a piece of cake. And they learn pretty quickly that it's not a piece of cake, and that the guys you're racing are just as good or better than you are. And it's a rude awakening for some of these youngsters, but Scott has done a good job of bringing them along, teaching them situational awareness, teaching them to be aware of where the race car is, where the competitors are, no argy-bargy, as you often see in karting, where there's a lot of rough and tumble to it. He says there's no room for that in open-wheel racing. It's dangerous. It's life-threatening. And so, you have to respect, your other competitors and be aware of where everybody is on the racetrack. So I'm really in great admiration of the job that Scott has done since he took over as race director a couple seasons ago.
About 21 minutes in, just shy of 14 minutes remaining.
Top three beginning to spread out just a little bit, as it looks like Cooper Becklin not able to challenge Ryan Sheehan at the moment. He's fallen about a second and 2/10 behind his teammate. Meanwhile, Callum Hedge continues to click off fast lap after fast lap, and he's opened his gap to his teammate Ryan Sheehan up to about 3 seconds now. Look down the order, the field is very much spread out. Max Hewitt appeared to be closing down on Rodrigo Gutierrez. That has gone by the wayside, as Gutierrez with a comfortable lead. Now I think Max may have a problem. He has not yet come by in that number 22 car. There he is across the line, now 15 seconds back of Gutierrez. So Max Hewitt had a issue at some point and dropped back. He was just about a half a second behind Gutierrez at one point, but has lost all that advantage. So this is really the only battle that we've been watching, and it's the best one of the 12 cars out on track.
Kind of watching Becklin and Sheehan here in that tussle for second spot. Obviously Sheehan kind of pulling ahead and away from Becklin again here. Both again, your top three all from Crosslink Kiwi, but watching Becklin here, a little bit of a monkey see monkey do here, following Sheehan on the exit of 5. Sheehan went way wide, all 4 tires on the rumble strips, and Becklin has to be careful here not to get a little target focused in that aspect, trying to find a faster way around this 4-mile race course. Following Sheehan right on the gearbox and following exact line may not necessarily get him back to the gearbox. He may need to find a little bit more grip, even if it's just a half a car length off of Apex. Again, make a little bit later Apex entry into 5 and get a better run up the hill while Sheehan is spinning the tires on the rumble strips on the exit. So by replicating the same line that Sheehan's doing, it's not doing himself any favors.
You know, and it's interesting because Becklin is the most experienced of these 4 drivers, basically. He's been with the FR Series for 2 years. This is his 3rd year of competition in the FR Series. He finished 7th in the championship a year ago, whereas Ryan Sheehan and Bryson Morris, for instance, have just come from a successful run in the F4 Series, and our leader Callum Hedge has not run in either series with us here. So Becklin with a lot of experience, and you know, he still realizes he's got something to learn. But look at that, once again he's beginning to close the gap down. Makes me wonder if he's, you know, purposely lying back a little bit, getting some cooler air on the radiators, giving the car a chance to cool down a little bit, plus cooling down the tires. And maybe finding that if he bides his time, he might have a little more bite as we get to the closing minutes here, and might have something for his teammate before it's all over. It's been really interesting watching this interval get bigger and then smaller, then bigger, then smaller. Ryan Sheehan, you know, maybe controlling that gap, but Becklin is not letting him get away, that's for sure.
A different Apex exit for Becklin that time, about a half a car length inside the Apex. Sheehan a little bit wider on the exit of 10 underneath the spectator bridge back there by the beach. And now through the kink into Canada corner.
Call it about 2-3 car lengths now as they exit Canada and head for the Billy Mitchell Bend.
A little bit more runoff on the exit of 12 there, so there's a little bit less of a drop into the grass. So again, a couple of areas got some additional curbing and additional runoff, but again, most of the curbs are all in the exact same location, and the track surface within millimeters of the original surface from the repave. So this racetrack, other than brand new pavement, is identical to the previous race course.
We had a great opportunity on Thursday during the lunch break on Thursday, which was the test day. The track made it possible for the drivers to come out onto the track in their street cars and basically get eyes on the track and see where it was different. A number of our drivers have raced here before, but a number have not. And so Scott Goodyear was able to negotiate the opportunity for them to take a couple laps behind the safety car, of course, in their street car, just so they could, you know, start to think about where their braking markers would be. He said, you know, when they repave a track like this, a lot of the markers that you have sort of ingrained in your head is, okay, where the pavement stops right here, you know, where the concrete patch begins, that's where I'll hit the, and now with a more uniform surface, it requires a rethinking of where those markers are. And I think that has really paid these drivers in good stead, especially these drivers who are the most experienced racers between our two. They have taken those learnings to good effect and making the most of it. So we stay with this second place battle, and it's getting a little more interesting here as we're well inside the final 10 minutes. Clock on the wall says 8.5 minutes remaining in this one, with lap times in the low 2-minute range. It's going to be 3 or 4 laps depending on how they catch the timing line.
And with the way that the repave was done with the Echelon paving, no seams in the asphalt. It is one consistent surface from line to line. So again, the character of that racetrack, you lose the sometimes a ripple seam that you'd find maybe perhaps, and try to use that as a lane marker or a breakpoint marker. Of course, the transitions in pavement in 14, 8, turn 3, turn 5, where there was that subsequent alternate paving where you had newer pavement in the center of the corners, where the center of the corners were repaved. you had a little bit of a bump there, and that was in some cases a transition point where you wanted to be on the brakes before or after that bump of the transition. For some cars, especially in turn 14, there's a bump right after the crest where the repave was there, and that was kind of a traditional braking point for these cars. You don't have that right now where the alternate timeline is. So that's gonna, I think that's gonna impact, you know, maybe if we get a little bit closer battle towards the later stages, you know, who's going to dive into 14?
Yep.
You know, 14 really becomes a double apex corner as well in certain situations, depending on how you're entering. And it's, that break point has changed.
Yeah.
Do you go too deep and slide through the corner? So you got to be careful with that. And as this battle starts to shape back up, as Cooper Becklin is starting again to kind of get right on the gearbox here within a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths, but Sheehan seems to get a really good exit out of 8, out of Hurry Downs, and able to kind of gap out of the carousel here.
Looking at the lap times, the top 3, these top 3 have all eclipsed the old race lap record. It was held by Benjamin Peterson, by the way, who's now an IndyCar driver, set back in the first year we were here in 2019 with these cars. And it has stood that long, but all 3 of these top 3 have eclipsed that race lap record. Callum Hedge still has the fastest lap of the race, a 2:04.1. The old lap record was a 2:04.8. In fact, Hedge is just a couple hundredths from the qualifying lap record with his race lap pace. So he's actually quicker in the race as the fuel has burned off. These cars get lighter in the closing stages, and they are actually faster at the end of the race than they are at the beginning. As they cross the line, just about 5.5 minutes left. So this lap and 2 more maybe.
That gap has really been stable at the start-finish line between Sheehan and Becklin, about 0.544 seconds, so just slightly over a half second.
Yep.
That gap has really kind of stabilized every time they come through the start-finish line. It's ebbed and flowed during the lap, but when push comes to shove, that gap is about a half second.
Yep.
When it counts is at the start-finish line.
Right, absolutely. So the New Zealander, Callum Hedge, really not being challenged by either of his teammates. Almost a 5-second lead now. And these 3, really the class of the field, they're 21 seconds in front of Nick Berging. So this battle for second is definitely the one to watch in these final 5 minutes. As once again, Ryan Sheehan seems to be able to eke up a little more of an advantage. Down into turn 8 they come. Talked about it a lot. These cars make more downforce than their F4 counterparts, so the disturbed air coming off the rear wing of the leading car definitely compromises the downforce, especially at the front of the following car. So the closer Cooper Becklin gets, the less front downforce he has to work with. So he's got to be choosy about where he makes his moves, and you'll see him frequently doing what he can to pull out from behind Ryan Sheehan to try to get some clean air on that wing so he can maintain his pace. Obviously, he wants to stay in the draft for the aerodynamic advantage. As our leader just about to put Kevin Jansen a lap down. Another lap down. Jansen spent a couple laps in the pits to replace that damaged front wing. They're side by side, meaning the leader and Jansen on the run down to turn 1. Confirmation from timing. We'll see the white flag next time. 24 car of Kevin Jansen sandwiched in between our first and second place battle. But these 2 will overhaul him pretty quickly here. Looks like they're going to encounter that car pretty close to turn 5. And if they have to follow him up the hill through 6 and 7, it's going to cost them a little time. So depending on how Ryan Sheehan catches the traffic, Cooper Becklin might have a prime opportunity here to take advantage using that traffic as a pick as they come up the hill. There's Jansen, there's Ryan Sheehan, then Cooper Becklin as they work their way down toward turn number 7. Job from Kevin Jansen. He's able to allow Sheehan to get through, but Cooper Becklin definitely got the worst of that exchange. Caught him right at the wrong spot. And Kevin Jansen is staying in front of him in the run through the carousel. Oh, this is disaster for Cooper Becklin. Exactly what he did not need to catch that lapper at just the wrong moment. Now he's going to go to the inside at the kink. But sadly, I think the damage has been done, as that lapped car definitely ruined Cooper Becklin's opportunity to make a last lap challenge here. As we are coming to the white flag, indicating 1 lap to go. And the second place battle is no longer, as Cooper Becklin well adrift after that little contretemps with the lapped car of Kevin Jansen, who was his teammate, as it turns out. Jansen also drives for the Crosslink Kiwi team, so I think there might be a little inter-squad debriefing after that little contretemps. White flag is in the air, the top 3 across the line. Callum Hedge resets fast lap of the race, a 2:03.6. That is a new overall lap record. Fastest ever turned here in official race mode. Car getting faster as it burns off the fuel. In a Formula car, the weight of the fuel that you start the race with is a not insignificant proportion of the overall weight of the car. So as the fuel burns off over the course of the race, the car gets lighter, and a lighter car is a faster car. It reacts better. You don't have to brake as hard. It accelerates quicker. Weight is everything. And so these cars definitely get quicker. It's a testament to the longevity of these Hankook tires, that they maintain their grip throughout the course of this 35-minute race. And as the car gets lighter, the car gets faster. On the final lap, not much challenge from behind the top 3, as Callum Hedge, Ryan Sheehan, and Cooper Becklin have dominated this race. 4th place runner Nick Berging 26 seconds behind the 3rd place car. He is 35 seconds behind the leader. There's Ryan Sheehan, there's Cooper Becklin. The lapped car of Kevin Jansen in the distance. Coming to the checkered flag, it will be a sweep of the podium for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports, as our leader Callum Hedge from the pole, never headed in this race, got the jump in the run down to turn number 1 and made it stick. Callum Hedge taking his 2nd win on the season and 2nd win in a row, as he won round 3 at NOLA and now wins round 4 at Road America. Ryan Sheehan across the line in 2nd. Cooper Becklin wondering what could have been, as he takes 3rd place honors in the 19 car. Callum Hedge setting the fast lap of the race on the last lap of the race, a 2:03.377. That is a 1.5 seconds quicker than the old race lap record. Yeah, I think the track is faster. Nick Pershing should finish in the 4th spot. Oliver Westling, after battling near the front in the early stages, faded. No, Westling gets around. Nick Pershing did not come by. Pershing has not come by the track. There he is. Pershing lost 2 spots. Oliver Westling comes home in 4th. Bryson Moore is 5th. Nick Pershing made a mistake on that last lap, fell all the way back to 6th. Manuel Rosa then coming across in 7th spot. You can see something flapping from the back of Rosa's car as Pershing pulls off. So apparently a problem developed for Nick Pershing there on the final lap. And here comes the 10 car of Rodrigo Gutierrez, who will take 8th place honors. Behind him, we expect Max Hewitt in the number 22. There's Hewitt taking the flag. And Hayden Bowlesby in the number 3 will take the final points-paying position.
Ryan, you're rolling. Well done, Callum.
Reaction.
All right, how about some noise here, Callum? Let's hear something. I don't know.
Just get out of there like you just got out of the car driving from church or something.
I've never like celebrated ever when I get out.
You don't?
No, I never have. Ow. Sore. There we go. Thank you very much. Not sure if the size is right for you. Try it. Good? I reckon she's not bad.
So how was it out there?
Yeah, pretty long actually. Normally in a car like this, I'm not used to doing a race that's 35 minutes long, so it was pretty long, pretty physical work. Had a bit of a nap before the race, so I was feeling fresh going into it. But the goal was to obviously win the race from pole, get a good start, and since every race basically is a qualifying session with your fastest lap dictating the grid for the next race, I basically drove flat out for 35 minutes. So really cool fun. Big thanks to Kiwi Motorsport, Giltrap Group, Tony Quinn Foundation, and Tasman Motorsport Group for making this all happen for me.
So I'm guessing you've never raced at Road America, and now you're racing on a newly polished surface. How does that feel?
It's pretty cool. I've done a few tracks where the surface has been redone in a couple of corners, and that one corner is normally really good, so it's quite cool to have a whole entire track that's freshly resurfaced, and there's plenty of grip out there.
Perfect. Thank you
very much.
Let's get our podium celebration underway. It's a Crosslink Kiwi sweep of the podium. Your third place finisher, Cooper Becklund, ladies and gentlemen.
Smoking, man. Beautiful race.
Yeah.
You're almost about to be called up there.
Are you going to have a talk with Kevin Jansen after the race?
No, it was good. I don't think I was going to be able to get Ryan anyway, so, I mean, it is what it is.
What a great battle. It looked like it kind of ebbed and flowed. He'd get away from you a bit, and then you were able to reel him in. Were you just biding your time, hoping for an opportunity?
No, I mean, with these cars, there's so much aero wash that there's really nowhere you can do anything, because before all the straightaways and all the passing zones is all fast turns, so it's just kind of aero wash would determine how this race works.
Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I mean, everybody at Crosslink Kiwi, just getting the car ready. My dad for letting me do this, my mom for letting me skip school.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Third place finish, his third podium on the season for Cooper Becklund.
Cooper.
Second place finisher, Ryan Sheehan, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan. Nice job. Didn't have anything for Callum, but this guy gave you everything he could handle.
Yeah, unfortunately, Callum got a pretty good lap after me, Bryson, and Cooper's fight on lap 1, and he just took advantage of that and ran away. But good damage control.
All three of you, by the way, eclipsed the old lap record, the old race lap record, so not all bad.
Yeah, this new surface is really nice, so yeah, not much to complain about.
Anybody to thank?
Yeah, the whole Crosslink Kiwi crew, all my sponsors, Harrison Noel, Stilo, Lucky Design, all my Pathfinders, my parents, and thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second place finish, fourth podium on the season for Ryan Sheehan. This is getting to be a habit.
Yeah,
second win in a row for Callum Hedge, ladies and gentlemen.
Knocks my focus way out.
Callum, you've been quick all weekend, unofficially better than the lap record in the test sessions. You got a new race lap record in this race. Didn't seem to be much of a problem, but were you maintaining the gap, or could you have pushed any harder?
To be honest, I was pretty tapped out. Paul was on the radio telling me the gaps were between the lap times, pretty much like we do in qualifying, so he'd say plus 0.1 or minus 0.1, so quite a lot of the times I do a pretty good lap, so yep, I'm pretty happy with that, and then all of a sudden I was P2 again, so basically spent the whole 35 minutes just flat out, and very, very thankful to be here. Big thanks to Giltrap Group, Tony Quinn Foundation, and Tasman Motorsport Group for making this happen for me.
Congratulations, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Second win in a row, ladies and gentlemen, for Callum Hedge from Auckland, New Zealand.
Trophies up.
Trophies aloft for our drivers, and we'll do a quick hat dance, and we'll get the next race underway from our SVRA.
Hey, crowd, I need everybody
Cohorts.
clapping next time, all right? when they put the new hats on, everybody clapping.
Ben Sissel is the cheerleader here at the victory podium.
All right, crowd, come on now.
Yeah, there we go. hats as the Ligier hats come off and the HPD hats go, or excuse me, Lucas Oil hats go on all three of our drivers.